So in the last video we created the rivet. Today we're going to work on the other parts of the boiler. So I'm going to come out of this rivet, go to our front view of the boiler, and we're going to work on this part here. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to zoom in a little bit using the rotate tool. I want it on the red axis. Click, click again, and then rotate it 90 degrees. I then want the select tool, and I want to go into this component. So here you can see once I can start highlighting parts, I'm in the component, and I want the offset tool. I'm going to pull it in 0.6. Press enter. I'm going to select it again. I'm going to reduce the number of segments to 20. I want the tape measure tool. I'm going to take a measurement from here to here, and you'll see it's 1.314. We need to remember this. So I'm going to click outside the group. Now, because I've rotated this and added this now to the blue axis, I need to go to the rivet. Obviously select the rivet, and at this point I want the rotate tool. Again on the corner, again on the line you want, I want to rotate this rivet to 90 degrees. You'll see why this is in a second. So I now want the select tool. I want to select the rivet, Control C. I then want to go into the firebox. So click outside the rivet, double click the firebox, make sure you've got it selected, and then I want to go Control V. The rivet will be there, but we now need the move tool, and we're going to move the rivet up a bit. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit now. The next thing we're going to do is turn on our view, face, X-ray. I then want the move tool, and I'm going to click on the center that we put on the rivet and move this till it now sits on the intersection there at the end point. I then want to go back to the view, face style, X-ray, and turn that off. I want the select tool, and I'm going to click on this line here, and then I'm going to use this tool up here. This tool here is copy along path, and if I right click, you'll see this is part of the JHS Power Bar plugin set. This is a handy plugin to have. It's free. So what I need to do, just click out of that again, make sure I'm in the group. I'm going to use this, click on it, I'm going to select the rivet, then down here you need to type in the measurement we saw. Now I've already tested this a few minutes ago and it did work, so that measurement, you can alter that depending on what your measurement you see on your model. So if we scroll out now and we have a little look here, now you can see because we were working on the component, it's now put these rivets on here, and they will be part of this group. We could do the same now around the outside of this boiler using exactly the same tool. Just remember, obviously we put 20 rivets here. Here you'd be probably putting about, I'd say, 100 rivets. So when you pull the offset tool, just remember to alter the number of segments to the type of number you want to see for the rivets you want, and then also make a note of what the distance between them is. The other thing you'll have to remember is you will have to select this group, and you will need to rotate that into the blue axis using the rotate tool. This then will allow you to do exactly what you've just seen done there. In the next video I will possibly look at putting some more rivets onto the front of this, which will be a lot easier, being some I'd like to put some in at some angles down in straight lines. That's very easy. And I may look at using some rivets along the outside of this boiler. So what I'm going to do, with this group highlighted now, I'm going to go File, Export STL, and I'm going to call this Resin Print 1. Save. Now even though I'm going to resin print this, I'm still going to bring this into Super Slicer and add the file. And the reason I'm doing this is because obviously I've drawn it very large and it's going to try and bring it into the scale I want. I need this to be set at 0.1. So we knew that was 30mm diameter. So here you can see we've now got the rivets, we've got the boiler as we had it. Then what I'm going to do is right click, export STL and save it again. Click yes and that will overwrite that file. So when I'm resin printing I use Chitubox. So I'm going to bring the file in and here you can see it's come in, it's at the right scale. The only thing I would do is I would rotate this and set it flat. So here I would move this until it went up to 90 degrees and print it that way, obviously using lots of support. I tend to use light supports, and then depending the more density, it's going to put quite a lot. It does, the settings I got will print it with this, and then platform, and this will put lots of support on for you. Now looking at this, you might want to put some around here. That's easy enough to add, but I would leave that to you to decide. You will know your printer best. By having light support, what I do once they've been printed, I then put them in some lukewarm water, leave them in that for a few seconds to warm up a little bit, and they just peel off with very little damage to the bottom of the print. You may also prefer printing this at an angle. As I say, I would leave that for you to decide what works best for you with your printer. Anyway, I'm hoping this helps you sort of be able to add some of the rivet details, and here you can see the rivets. So here you can see one I have resin printed already, slightly different detailing.